Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical for the first time in 2019. Thank you for stopping by. Allow me to wish you a wonderful 2019 and that everything you set out to do you achieve, and you achieve it with a facility that you never expected. On that note, this is the Happy New Year message that Donald Trump posted on New Year's Eve, I think it was. It's typically Trumpian. Sub-Saharan Africa, Sudan's Bashir defends crackdown as opponents plan more protests. We won't allow our country to slide into insecurity, he said in Khartoum. Widespread discontent with Sudan's economic crisis, which includes severe cash shortages and inflation of almost 70%, is representing one of the most serious challenges to al-Bashir since he took power in a 1989 Islamist-backed military coup. Rashid Abdi tweeted, "In the life cycle of protests, the third week is crucial. Either regime relents, makes concessions, or protest morale flags." Interesting. Sudan political parties are calling for a transitional council. DR Congo says it cut the internet to avoid an uprising after the vote. There are people who have indoctrinated the public with false numbers about this election. This has laid the groundwork for a popular uprising, Kabila's diplomatic advisor Barnaby Kikaya bin Karubi. The U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee urged authorities in the DR Congo to make sure votes are counted transparently, saying Sunday's presidential election would be neither fair nor free. Mondo Vice, today's election in the DR Congo is a fraud and the rich world shares the blame. It's collapsing, they're saying, under the weight of massive fraud. A Washington Post editorial 2 days ago had already accurately called the election a travesty, citing Kabila's chicanery, repression, subterfuge, and electoral flim-flam. All Congolese know that a free and fair election is impossible. Kambale Musavuli, an energetic young Congolese who works with the US-based Solidarity Group, Friends of the Congo, explains, but they collectively decided not to boycott anyway. And then they chose to use the election campaigns as a chance to mobilize and engage politically to an extent that is surprising everybody. They've cut the internet for the second day to avert chaos. It is true that I've been through a difficult period, as sometimes happens in life, said President Bongo of Gabon in a video recorded in Rabat. Seated at a table, the president's lower body is not shown. Today, as you can see, I am better, and I'm preparing to meet you again soon. Thousands of New Year party revelers and holiday makers gather at the North Pier Beach during the New Year's Eve celebrations in Durban. This photograph from Rajesh Jantilal of AFP. South Africa's election in May will be a key test for President Cyril Ramaphosa. If his party fails to win a significant majority, he may be forced to delay market-friendly reforms, such as revamping debt-laden state companies by retrenching workers or selling assets. That could trigger a credit rating downgrade and billions of dollars of outflows, according to Citigroup. Dollar versus Rand, I'm not bullish yet about the Rand, I know others are, but we're still in this wide range of 13.85 to 14.50, 14.60. Nigerians vote in mid-February. That's an important choice. Main choice is between Buhari, who's struggling to buoy an anemic economy, and former Vice President Abu Bakr, seen as more pro-business, but who's long been dogged by allegations of corruption. IPOs are still the least common exit route for African PE deals, most ending with buyouts. Pernod Ricard is taking a slice of Jumia to grow its presence in Africa. Previously, Pernod Ricard's partnership with Jumia has been through Jumia Party, which delivers alcoholic drinks to customers within an hour. I wrote about e-commerce and home-based delivery at the beginning of last year when I said that changed the world from London to China. I'm certain the same disruptions headed our way. And I said a lot of commercial real estate will be legacy assets. millennials with their avocado eating and cryptocurrency trading ways are just as likely to be African as they are European or American, in my view. Kenyan economy expands 6% as farming production recovers. This is Bloomberg's Adelaide reporting. Grew 6% in the third quarter from a year earlier, compared with 6.3% in the previous quarter. Grew 4.9% in 2017, which was the slowest in 5 years. That was because of the drought, elections, credit crunch. Farming sector in Kenya, which supplies about a third of the flowers sold in Europe, contributes about 35% of the country's total output. Tea production rose 12%. Horticulture was strong. Agricultural output declined 5.2%, while manufacturing rose 3.2%. Financial services up 2.6%. Central bank is at 6.2% for full-year GDP. Treasury is at 6% full-year GDP. I've said it many times, a sub-Saharan African economist has also got to be an accomplished meteorologist because rains have an outsized effect on GDP and well-being. Good rains have underpinned GDP in this part of Africa and topped it. Frontier Strategies Group is projecting the highest growth for Kenya in 2019 at 6.8%. Fitch, the lowest at 5.2%. Kenya costs are particularly vulnerable to the effects of an external shock due to their high current account deficit, that's capital economics, one-off shock, drought, currency devaluation, which would cause either growth to slow sharply to around 1 or 2%, or the servicing costs on debt denominated in foreign currency to increase. Serrano says, I flew my drone high above the huge flocks of lesser flamingos and the muddy banks of Lake Bogoria, Kenya. It's a fantastic photo, where they find their favorite food, cyanobacteria of the spirulina genus, in the alkaline water of the lake. Because of the dry season, minerals and salts from the volcanic subsoil are highly concentrated, creating an explosion of natural colors, which are visible from the air. Kenya's trade deficit jumped to 715.7 billion shillings. During the period, 997.1 billion were imported compared to 291.8 billion, according to the just released leading economic indicators. Exports grew by 5%. China, largest source of imports, accounting for 291.8 billion. India, 161.2 billion. Saudi Arabia, 138.4 billion. UAE, 126 billion. Japan, 78 billion. Interestingly, on the other side, Pakistan is Kenya's biggest trading partner, buying fresh produce, mainly tea, coffee, and flowers, worth 50.2 billion. Uganda second, 42.2 billion. US 39.5, Netherlands 38.9, UK 37 billion. President Kenyatta made a comparison between Japan's debt to GDP and Kenya's, but the crucial point is this: Japan pays 0 or less than 0 for borrowings out to 10 years. To wit, Muhammad Waliye tweeted, if they can park it with our mates, they should do the same with us. And on that note, in the first trading session of the year at the NSC, I'll take my leave and appreciate you all stopping by.